It's the morning. You're woken, those of you who managed to sleep, by a shrill ringing through the centre for troubled youths. You can see the one in your dorm, a circular red device above the door, its hammer striking the bell repeatedly like a fire alarm. Based on the routine, such as it was, laid down yesterday, you know you're supposed to shower and then go directly to chapel before breakfast.
I wince a little, but I get out of bed quickly. Even though the hour is ridiculously early, the concept of routine is not new to me. Plus, I am actually relieved. I must have eventually fallen asleep and I don't remember anything. That's great, that's good. That's good that it didn't happen on the first night. So, sure, fucking shower and this stupid chapel. I get ready to go to the showers, and then after that get dressed and head, feeling a little anxious at what awaits me in this Bible study.
The showers in the south wing aren't demarcated for gender usage, so as you find when you arrive there in long lines, one inmate keeps watch as others get cleaned up. And it's a fairly efficient system, but it's by no means pleasant. These showers haven't been cleaned since being installed, you wouldn't wonder. And when you have your shower, Damien, there's only half a spray emerging, as if the shower heads are blocked. Tobin, as you're getting showered, the water is running a rusty brown. But it's better than how you did smell. Thankfully, the showers do have stalls, allowing for some privacy. Emily, based on your age, the other children do give you some privacy. Thankfully, nothing escalates from there. And from the shower, the rest of your routine builds, and this is how you start to come to know it. St. Jude's instills a very careful, well thought out routine in its inhabitants. Wake, shower, pray, eat, class, eat, pray. And that's pretty much it. Wake, shower, pray, eat, class, eat, etc. There's a grinding mundanity to it. It is quite apparent, it's quite obvious that this is just going to be it over and over and over again. There is no advertisement of weekends, of leisure days, of anything like that. This is a place where people come to work. Whether it's to work through their problems, or whether it's just to work in class, to learn something, or just to work themselves to death.
What sort of things, as the days go on, are actually taught in the classes?
Well, we will get to that. Tobin.
Yeah.
As you're about to head to chapel with Emily and Damien, Dr. Crow bumps into you in the corridor. Ah, Tobin.
Miss Magpie. It's, Dr. Crow. Sorry.
Yes, Dr. Crow. Now, you are the first of my lucky experiments.
Oh.
You see, I will approach children such as yourself every now and then, during the times that they're supposed to attend church or class or whatever you happen to be doing, and I will invite you to therapy there and then. The idea is to make therapy an organic part of the day, not something scheduled like everything else. This is something where I can come up to you like a friend, put my arm around you and say, now's the time to talk.
Okay.
So, come with me to my office. Let's talk, shall we? Emily! How are you doing? Actually, I've not got time for that right now. I've got to spend time with a young Tobin right now.
Someone got burned really badly.
You'll have to tell me during your therapy session,
But
okay?
I'm not sure she's okay.
Keep it all inside right now, little Emily. Keep it all inside. You can tell me during therapy. Or if you're particularly worried, by all means tell Father Vogel or any of the other adults on staff and we will help.
She needs a doctor.
Please don't be mistaking or worrying the other children with your hallucinations.
Emily, come on, we gotta go to church. You can tell me about it. Thank you, Miss Crow. I'm not needed, am I?
Dr. Crow.
Dr. Crow. Sorry, Dr. Crow. Won't make that mistake again, sorry.
No, I don't need you. It's Tobin's turn.
Alright, Emily, come with me. You can tell me about it.
I look between them and feel a slight relief that I wasn't the only one almost slipping with the stupid nickname that we'd given her. Yeah, see you. And I look up at her.
Time's a wasting.
Yeah.
The sooner we get these sessions done, young Tobin, the sooner you'll be out of here and on the street doing what you will.
Alright, yeah, good.
Now, as you settle down in her office, Dr. Crow's office is deep in the east wing of St. Jude's. It is notably the only room in the building to not have a barred window. She keeps her office well appointed with bookcases, a desk, books, and ornaments, typical of a high-end therapist's office. There's no reclining chair or sofa for the patient, however. She benefits from a comfortable chair, and you are expected to sit on a backless stool.
I go over then to the stool, glancing at the window as it takes my attention.
It's small and square, just wide enough for a child to fit through. The view beyond it is of a sandy area. You didn't see that when you were walking around the parking lot on your morning of arrival.
I note that. I wonder what's on that side.
She gets her notepad out, a couple of books, looks down and starts writing. So, Tobin Waltz. Is that a German name?
Yes it is. Austrian actually though, I'm sorry.
No, it's useful that you specify. Were any of your ancestors Nazis? Sometimes these things come to inform the way we act in life. Heritage is a very important feature of the path one leads.
I don't know if they were, Doctor.
Okay, fine. So tell me, why were you sent here?
Shoplifting.
Shoplifting?
At the
okay.
Nova Mile.
I can't say I know it, but fair enough. Shoplifting, that's pretty petty.
Yeah, it was several occasions, I guess. There was an officer there who was quite zealous.
Put you into the system.
I guess.
How do you feel about that?
It feels like, I was taken into an office and they said I could go. They said they just needed to take some notes, and they did some kind of lie detector thing, and then they said I could go, but the officer grabbed me outside.
Oh, those are rarely reliable. So you feel like you were misled?
Yeah.
So do you feel like you're not here based on your own fault? You feel it was someone else's responsibility?
I mean, no, it was, I did take those things.
We get to the crux of it.
It's more like it's a bit weird. I don't know what my parents, I don't know what they know, really.
She continues writing, feverishly almost. Fascinating. Well, I'm sure your parents are very concerned.
Yeah.
No doubt if a son of mine was caught stealing, I would be concerned too.
I just look down at this, feel a pang of shame, not an immediate urge to talk to them about that.
Now, you tell me you don't feel like you deserve to be here, and yet it's your fault.
I don't know, it's... I don't, maybe I do deserve it, but it's just that they said that I could go. They even let me keep the things.
Well, sometimes people aren't trustworthy, Tobin. That's the problem. Children often place their trust in any adult with a smiling face and a comforting grasp, or something like that, and it leads them astray. I dare say in your life of crime you have followed many an adult into a dangerous situation, have you not?
I guess. I mean, one of the guards said that he'd stolen things himself, and then he became a security guard, so I don't know.
Tut, tut, tut. Well, I suppose at least admitting one's faults is a way of overcoming them, no?
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, Tobin, and she still doesn't look up at you, I think that shoplifting is a very petty crime. You don't strike me as the kind of person who is likely to commit any kind of offence like that again. Do you think you ever would steal again?
No, Doctor, I don't.
No, I would say you're completely rehabilitated, wouldn't you?
Yes. I'm sorry for what I did, and I feel a slight tingling of hope.
And with that said, unfortunately I can't just let you go. The tangled gears and wires of bureaucracy take time to unpick, Tobin.
Oh yeah, you need to tell them that I've learned a lesson and all that.
And it's not easy. It's not easy. You know, if they've got evidence that you committed a crime, then my telling them that, well, within 24 hours he has shown himself to be a good boy who would never do something like that again, you have to understand that they probably wouldn't believe it. I have to show evidence that you're a good boy.
Yeah, it makes sense, I guess.
But I feel confident, and she is looking up now, I feel confident that you are a good boy, Tobin. You wouldn't do something like break a young woman's nose, would you?
No, I guess she was the one break my nose.
No, you wouldn't, let's say... You wouldn't steal someone's lunch?
No, Doctor.
No?
No.
And you wouldn't lie to me?
Are you talking about what happened yesterday?
Well, let's put our cards on the table, Tobin. I want people to speak openly with me. I'm trustworthy, I'm honest, I'm open. I want you to be the same.
It was... this other girl, Jackie McCann, she had taken the lunch of, the young girl, the one that I was with in the corridor.
Jackie McCann, she flicks through some paperwork. No. Well, that's very unfortunate.
All I wanted to do was to help her get it back, I just didn't like her.
Nah. Well, it's all right to not like people. We don't go through life liking everybody. It's okay to defend your friends. Of course it is, of course it is, of course. You want to be the hero. You want to be a good boy. I can see that. I can see that by your stepping in to help that young girl, Emily, who sees... She sees a lot. I think she sees more than her parents give her credit for. You can tell her that from me. Now... Here's what we're going to do, Tobin. I need you to give me your promise that you're not going to get into any trouble. And if I can say that for a whole week you were nothing but a model student who showed no signs of delinquency and maladjustment, I dare say I'll be able to get you out of those front gates with a minimum of fuss. I doubt you will even have a juvenile record.
1 week?
1 week, that's all.
Yes, of course, ma'am.
Dr. Crow, please.
Dr. Crow.
Well, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. Now, you should probably get back to church service. Father Vogel gets very upset if people miss church service for too long.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Doctor.
It really is my pleasure. Now, Tobin.
Yes, Doctor.
I'm guessing that you don't have many friends, do you, here? Not yet. It's only been a day.
No, not yet. I met some nice people, though. I mean, yeah. And there's this one guy, David Jones, that he was at the same school.
Oh, you knew him outside of this place.
Yeah, but I mean, I wasn't involved in what he was doing.
Don't associate with him. He's trouble. Take it from me.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, get yourself to church.
Yes, Doctor. And I back out, and then all but run out to get to the sermon.
While the sermon is going on, Damien, you're sat near Emily. Just so happened that that's the way you filtered out, and of course you're sat near the back, the kind of place I'm sure Damien prefers to sit. Are you going to have a conversation just as Father Vogel is warming up?
I probably would let Emily say things to me on the way in, but I also will likely stop if this thing is happening. After all, I don't want her getting told off again. But on the way in, I just mutter, Emily, I don't know what you wanted to tell them, but it's probably best just to not tell anyone, okay? Not yet.
The girl. And maybe she needs help.
What girl?
The girl that took my pizza.
Jackie. What, that's the one they had downstairs? Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I heard it as well, okay? I heard what happened, kind of. Just the prefects, they were all bad people, right? So you gotta be careful, because if you make too much noise, they'll cause trouble for you. Don't worry,
she
just
needs help.
I'm sure she'll be fine. They wouldn't have... I don't think they would have done anything permanent, because otherwise they'll get in trouble too, okay? But just for now...
But why did they do that?
I told you they're bad people. I look a bit awkward and then say, I know you're only young, but, some people are bad, yeah? Like, really bad. They just are, in life. When you grow up, you'll learn that.
No, I already know that.
Oh.
I know that some people are bad.
Oh, there you go then. Well, these prefects, most of them are bad people, okay? Not just bad kids. Bad people. They're gonna grow up and be bad as well. I think,
You
anyway.
don't just get bad out of nothing. Something happens, and then you go bad.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. It's already happened to them. They're older than you, remember? I'm closer to their age, I think.
Do you think it's because she's drawing too much attention to herself?
Yes, exactly.
As you're at the back of the line, and the line is now filtered into the chapel, leaving you two as the only two outside of it, you enter. And as soon as you do, you are hit in the face with the reek of sex, sweaty bodies, and unwashed, moist skin. It's quite repugnant that this chapel smells that way. And you can see from the wrinkled noses and downturned faces of a lot of the children here, some of them don't understand what they're smelling, but all of them know that it's unpleasant.
Even I'm not 100% certain what I'm smelling. I try not to recoil, but it just stinks in here.
Smells like feet.
Yeah.
Father Vogel steps up to his lectern and, seeing the two of you still standing at the back, take your seats, please.
I nod and just gesture for Emily to just sit somewhere, and again we end up sitting together, it seems, at the back.
I walk up to him.
I said,
Someone
take
got
your
really
seats.
hurt.
Take your seat, young lady.
Someone got really hurt last
You-
night and she needs help.
Do you see that confession booth behind me?
What is that?
You sit in one side, I sit in the other, and after service you can talk to me. But for
But she
now,
needs help
I speak
now.
the word of God, and God says take your damn seat.
Well, God sucks! And Emily turns around and walks to her seat.
Well, that will be quite enough of that. I am Father Vogel, and I have marked your words, young lady. You will be spending time after sermons, as will anyone who takes the Lord's name in vain in this place. You will know that this place is called St. Jude's, but what I expect most of you children will not know is that St. Jude is a patron saint, well, often of lost causes, among other things. To some, all of you are lost causes. To me, you are beacons of hope. Every single downward path can be turned upward. Are any of you familiar with the Bible?
Damien would be familiar with the Bible, but he's not going to say anything.
Emily's not saying anything either.
Well, that is disappointing, but hardly unsurprising. I find that when children are familiar with the Bible, they do not do wrong. But when they are unfamiliar with it, they have no moral compass except for parents who breed in iniquity. Therefore, I will give you a brief education before you start your classes today. I will be reading from the book of Job. Do any of you know who Job is? No, of course you don't. Job is a very unlucky individual. It seemed he was put in the face of many trials by the Lord God, who saw fit to exercise certain punishments on the man so that he could overcome them and open his eyes to the glory of God. Job is, in one's opinion, a lost cause, at least until he realizes that he isn't. Job is emblematic of suffering, and you only get better through suffering. No one got better by being pampered. And so, I take Job 23, 8 to 17. Listen to these words. At this point, Tobin, you enter at the back. Take your seat.
And I hurriedly try and find a seat to sit.
But if I go east, he is not there. If I go to the west, I do not find him. When he is at work in the north, I do not see him. When he turns to the south, I catch no glimpse of him. But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I will come forth as gold. My feet have closely followed his steps. I have kept to his way without turning aside. I have not departed from the command of his lips. I have treasured the words of his mouth more than my daily bread. But he stands alone, and who can oppose him? He does whatever he pleases. He carries out his decree against me, and many such plans he still has in store. That is why I am terrified before him. When I think of all this, I fear him. God has made my heart faint. The Almighty has terrified me. Yet I am not silenced by the darkness, by the thick darkness that covers my face. Digest that for a while, as we sing All Things Bright and Beautiful. I expect all of you to sing along. All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small. Sing, sing, let God hear your voices. All things wise and wonderful, the Lord God made them all. You can sing louder than that. Each little flower that opens, each little bird that sings, he made their glowing colours, he made their little wings. That's enough. Next time, I expect everyone to sing with a little more passion. Now, before our sermon comes to a conclusion, I spoke from the book of Job, and I made you sing a song. Most of our chapel services will run longer than this, but I ask all of you, and I invite you to stand and give your interpretation, children that you are, of what was meant from the book of Job. Are any of you smart enough to understand the word of Job? To understand God?
I hold up my hand.
Yes, you there, boy. Stand up if you are to speak.
I do so. It was talking about the fear of God, Father.
Mm-hmm.
And how it gets in the way of us seeing things. Maybe.
Is that your takeaway?
Yes. I mean, there was the blackness covering the face. It was because of the fear, wasn't it?
We all take different meanings from the good book, young man. You can sit down now. And your reading of it is not unusual. However, my interpretation is that Job understood that God could destroy him, smite him, or ignore him at any point. And despite his fear, he followed in God's footsteps and did everything God put before him because he knew that God was a loving God. That even when he did not understand God's motives, he would still follow him because God knew what was best for Job. Therefore, even when the cloak of blackness is swaddling your face and you find it impossible to breathe, God is still your friend and still your saviour. There is only one person you can trust in your life and beyond it, and that is God. And failing that, a priest.
I privately think in my mind that all of this is the sort of thing that Bible totally uses to make people do as it says. It's sort of a, oh yeah, no matter what bad stuff happens to you because of the Bible or the world, God's still there. What a load of rubbish, but again, I don't say anything, I just keep my head down.
Your mother is sat with you at the dining table. She's spreading butter onto toast. Your father's not there. He hasn't been there for some time. You've not seen him for quite a while. You're not sure whether something might be going on there between Mummy and Daddy. She hasn't been speaking to you much.
Yeah, I'm just fiddling around my little code in my little book. I'm used to this. It's his work, I know. His work, well, he needs to be away from home a lot. An awful lot. But when you're dealing with some of the things he deals with, bad people, you know, I get it. Sucks a bit, though. Sometimes I don't think him and Mum get along as well as they used to. But what can you do? I know he's doing good out there, at least. And I'm cared for by both of them, even if they don't talk to me about their own problems. So I just doodle away and have my toast.
She takes a couple of bites. There's no radio on in the background, no television, so it's just the sound of chewing, the sound of masticating through dry bread, and the occasional gulp, followed by a slurp of orange juice or tea. Then she stops. She puts down her bread. Damien?
Yeah, Mum?
I've arranged for you to take some time out of school.
Yeah?
Well, I've been, with your dad having been so busy with work recently, I've been taking more of an interest in the things you do, and I see that you're interested in what I do for a living with my market research and secret shopper activities.
Yeah, I say with a bit of a smile, even though it's a little bit of a lie. I've actually always been more interested in what my father does. But, again, a little white lie every now and again never hurt anyone. That's what my dad always says.
So yes, I've agreed to take you out of school for a short period.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm about to tell you needs to stay between you and I. I don't want you discussing this with any of your friends from school, certainly not.
Oh, no, sure.
In fact, probably best not to discuss it with your dad either.
Why not?
Well, it's something of a professional nature, and I know obviously you're only 15, but you are eventually going to want to get a job, and when you do, this is going to be very helpful for you on your record of achievement or your CV.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, what is it?
Okay, so I was contacted the other day by a government body. It's very rare that I work for the state. Most of the time I'm just working for private organisations who want to find gaps in their security or identify where shoppers are doing this or that.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked me to investigate I think they called it a youth centre. They wanted me to go in as a member of staff to make sure that everything was up to code and make sure that the children there are being treated well. And by the sounds of it, I've looked it up, I did some research on my own. It seems to be everything that you could really want. It has a therapist on staff, there's a priest, there's teachers full-time, even has some kitchen staff, there's sleeping areas, showers, even a playroom, a rec room for all the children there, and it's a big building too.
Oh. It's not like... Well, Mum, it sounds a bit like it's like a weird... Like a prison but not prison for kids? Like
I guess. Well, that's what we need to find out, because I think there's some pretty rough customers that get sent there, but it's obviously for the best that they get sent to a place where they can be comforted and rehabilitated back into society. Now, as I say, they wanted me to pose as a member of staff, get a job there, make a report, leave, and if everything went well, then brilliant, they continue receiving their funding. If things don't, well, then different actions are taken. However, Damien, I've got some bad news. Your dad and I aren't really speaking much right now, and I don't know when that's going to get better. I hope it will soon. We've got a lot of things to work out. Your dad has made some mistakes. I'm sure he would say I have as well. And it's not your fault. It isn't your fault at all.
Oh. But isn't sometimes... Because I know he can't really say a lot about some of the stuff he does, because his work, some of the stuff he does that's like, kind of like police, but not, kind of. Yeah, I know I shouldn't say anything.
No, that's... Well... I mean, your dad and I got together through mutually investigating something.
Okay.
And so, you share some of our interests, so I'm sure just by osmosis. But anyway, I know, I'm sure that's very heavy. I don't want you to think that we're separating or anything like that. We need to talk it through, we need to get a counsellor, and what's really going to help, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way. For one thing, I can't focus on my work while all of this is going on.
Okay, and I guess this sort of job sounds good, but you wouldn't be able to do both things at the same time. That would be stupid. Yeah.
Well, I worry that it would get in the way of my healing the rift between your father and I. So...
I mean, sure, and, so wait, what exactly do I do? Like, what, just go to the place and just pretend?
Well, I'm glad you're there you go, you're being proactive, that's exactly what... I'm sorry. I was hoping that your dad and I would be able to talk to you about this at the same time, but he hasn't been home for a little while now, and time is ticking, so that's why I'm telling you, and I'll bear the brunt of it. There's two aspects to this, Damien. One, and again, please don't take this the wrong way, but if you're not around, it means your dad and I can speak to each other and be honest with each other without having to worry about anything we say hurting you. And I know all of this must sound horrible, but please understand that that's sometimes something adults need to do.
I wrinkle my nose a little bit, and I sort of say a bit dismissively, "Yeah, Mum, I know. Mum, I'm almost 16. I'm not a kid. I get it, okay?"
You are still a kid, though. And that's where aspect number 2 comes in, because as I can't spend my time embedded undercover, as it were, at this children's home, I need you to do that. As one of the new admittees, I've already cleared it with your school that you're going to be out of school, receiving some home tuition while we are abroad. That's what your school believes.
Alright.
And in actual fact, you will be there. You'll be earning money, and the money will be going to you. I'll be taking a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But you'll have that put in trust. You can put it towards a car when you leave secondary school. Or whatever you like, really. But you need to sign up to it to be able to go tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow, okay.
I know it's very fast noticed.
No, I can think of some plans. So what do I say? To them, at their, like, shall I just make a story up, like Dad's drunk or something, and, like...
Well, yes, we need something you have done. You need to come up with something you have done. I thought, I don't know, either maybe you ran away from home, or you burned a house down. I mean, you look too healthy, quite frankly, to have been homeless.
Well, burn a house down. Come on, that's stupid. No, that's the first thing. If Dad's drunk, then yeah, and you're having problems. I kind of pause at that and then I quickly continue the sentence. Then yeah, I ran away from home, and yeah, like that's real bad. So I shouldn't.
And the state deemed us inadequate parents to look after you, and so you're currently being looked after there.
Exactly. You're getting a. Again, I pause. Because Dad's drunk, and yeah, so I ran away from home, and the state said I go to this place. It's probably even a mistake. That would explain why I'm probably going to be there for a short time. I start writing things down. In my heart, I am very mixed. But it's almost as if this strange, silly little task is more interesting to think about than what Mum's said about her and Dad. Oh, so maybe Dad will be really proud of me if I pull this off. So I just start writing things down, like, okay, yeah, okay. That I can do this. Yeah, I just gotta go there. Should I do I need proof if they are doing like bad stuff? Do I need to get proof of some kind, or what do you mean?
It would be worthwhile you recording anything. So take your dad's old dictaphone or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what they will allow you to keep on you, so probably keep it hidden, but also make written notes. I know you're a good writer.
Yeah, it's alright. No, Dad showed me a way of hiding things in bags. It's quite cool.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
That's funny, I found something hidden in one of his bags. But anyway. You can go there as of tomorrow. The bus will pick you up. And when the time is right, I will come to collect you.
Okay, yeah, hold out till then.
You won't be able to leave. You won't be able to leave until I come to collect you. You need to have that clear in your mind, because I know that might scare you. You are only a kid, no matter what you might say. But I'm not going to let anything bad happen to you.
Oh, of course not, right, Mum?
No, but you're not going to have any paperwork on you or anything like that to say that you're the child health care equivalent of a secret shopper.
No, I get it. No, remember, I've talked to Dad about this sort of thing. I know how these things work. Yeah, I've already got a plan. I'll stick to the story. Government mistake. Happens all the fucking time. I don't know. I'm just a kid, right? So I'll just play along with that. Should be easy.
Alright. Okay. You're a good lad, and I'm sure it will all go well.
Sure, right? I mean, what's the worst? It can't be worse than actual juvie or anything like that. Dad's told me about that.
No, as I say, this place has got wonderful write-ups.
Alright, I'll keep my nose to the ground, make sure I don't cause any trouble.
You're handling this incredibly well. I'm so proud of you.
I feel happy hearing my mum say that. I know they have problems, my mum and dad, but I love them both, and I want to do them proud. Especially my dad, though, because he's told me so many things. In his line of work, he knows how the world is. I listen to it all. One day I hope to maybe do something like he does. Or, failing that, maybe be a journalist or something. I smile at my mum as I say, yeah, it'll be easy. After all, it's not like I get bullied anymore anyway. Not after I started taking the classes like Dad said. Worst case, I just won't have any friends there, or I'll just keep my head down. But I'll be alright, Mum. Don't worry, I'll do this. If it helps.
Make an intuition roll, please.
13.
On a 13, you don't know how much of her relief of sending you away is based on the fact that she feels you can do a good job in her stead, or whether right now she just wants to get rid of you. You are just starting to be able to observe your mother now without the shadow of your father around. And she looks frayed at the edges in a way that you haven't really seen her before. You know, she's always been a very tidy, perfectly put together person, always wears her makeup, hair is always straight, her clothes are always ironed, the breakfast spread is always out every morning, the model wife and mother. But for a long time now, even while your dad was here, she's been falling apart. And it's only now that you can see her in isolation that you're wondering how tightly she's clinging on to stability, and whether sending you away is going to do her some good, because it will give her some time to think, unaccosted, unassailed, with having to worry about you. I mean, by no means is it the kind of place you would want to go. It's not summer camp, you know?
No. As I see this, I'm filled with anxiety. I don't like seeing my mum like this. I feel bad. I really wish that Dad would come home and sort this out, because, again, they're not bad together. It's just, he's just away all the time, but he has to be away. He tells me that, and I understand, but I get lonely too, and I guess she does, and this is worrying. So, and then I stop thinking about those things and push them down. I push them down because that's making me upset, and it's much better to think about this thing. It's like a story, like a book. Go and spy, and I like that sort of thing. I'm going to focus on that. That's better. Just push it down. Push it down. I'll feel better, and again, this all should be fine. Although then there is one pang of anxiety, and I just suddenly say, "Oh, if I have a problem during the night, no, it won't be a problem. I'll be fine."
Oh, Damien, you've not wet the bed for the last 2 years. You'll be fine.
Yeah. I kind of frown at the way she dismisses it like that, but yeah, lately they haven't been so bad, and I've learned how to make sure no one hears me scream.
As the children are departing, Vogel strides up to you and Emily and Tobin. He folds his arms. "I believe the young woman wishes to speak with me. Are the three of you in some kind of cahoots?"
No, Father, no.
The scouts mean.
It means when you talk to each other, and no, Father Vogel, not necessarily.
We talk to each other.
Well, yeah.
I start to feel a bit nervous, having had the conversation just with the doctor about not getting into any kind of trouble. But I look at Emily as she looks... Did you look upset or anything?
Yeah, Emily is pale as a sheet. She hasn't slept all night. She does not seem like herself, even though you don't know her that well. She seems pretty out of it.
Yeah. So I kind of stand there and look at you, just wondering what's going on.
Why don't you tell me what's on your minds? It is the three of you and just me, and whatever you confess to a priest is kept confidential. If you can keep it confidential among yourselves, you can keep it confidential with me. And I promise nothing you tell me will get back to Dr. Crow.
There was a girl yesterday, and someone put...
Yes?
Someone hurt her with electricity and gave her shock, and she was burned really badly, and it was some of the prefects that did it, and and I don't know if anyone has helped her.
I look between Emily and Damien. Who?
I wrinkle my nose and don't say anything. I do just look at Emily with a little bit of sympathy.
The girl that stole my pizza.
Jackie.
You'll need to understand, little girl, that in a place like this, there is a pecking order that forms quite early on. There are bullies and there are bullied. Through faith in God, attendance of my services, you will find the inner strength to overcome any mortal adversary.
I don't understand when you talk. Talk normal.
He looks at you and then his hand grips the pew right in front of you, his knuckles turning white as he starts spasming and writhing, and he falls over and knocks his head on one of the benches and passes out.
I step back, generally like, what the fuck?
Me too. Shit.
I go to the entrance to the room and just start calling out, Father Vogel's fallen over!
I'm fine. He starts sitting up on the floor.
Oh. What happened?
That has never happened to me before. It was like something testing my soul. I should pray on this.
Was it God?
He looks at you to see whether you're mocking him.
It's pretty difficult to see from Emily's face since it's expressionless, but she definitely is.
Little girl, you may invoke the name of God thinking that it is some mockery, some foolhardy thing to be swung around like a club. But if I told you God was real, that I have heard his voice, that he has spoken to me...
I hear voices too, but they say I'm mental.
Come on, Emily.
The three of you can just go. I need to pray on this.
Thank you, Father Vogel. I kind of just go and gently tap Emily on the shoulder. Did you hear that, Emily? Father Vogel says we can go. Let's go.
I stare at Father Vogel. This is the first time Emily has ever expressed any kind of malice towards anyone else. For some reason she's really not liking Father Vogel.
Come on, Emily. We can go. Isn't that right, Tobin?
As the three of you leave the chapel, you hear Father Vogel suddenly shouting out, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. And then he repeats it, and then he repeats it, and then he repeats it, and then he stops.
I just hurry out of the hall. What did you do to him, Emily?
You didn't do anything, Tobin. He's just fucking crazy. Yeah.
I don't know what happened. No one wants to help her.
Did that ever happen before, that someone you talked to just fell over like that?
No, they usually just turn into bugs.
The alarm bell rings. It is time for class with Mr. Greep.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we played the scenario It Started and Ended with Screams for KULT Divinity Lost, from the upcoming Screams and Whispers scenario collection. The scenario was written by our dear friend Matthew Dawkins, who is also our Game Master. Joining Craig and Hjalmar was the talented Klara Herbøl. The music was made by Atrium Carceri and was used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody dark ambient. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Nastasia Raulerson, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, Camilla, Ludwig Manford, and Robin for their generous support. And we would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult Divinity Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember, death is only the beginning.